Alrighty. Okay. All right. So again, my name is Michael, and I've kind of a little background for me. This is my 5th year teaching. Before that, I've had kind of a lot of different roles in industry. I've started out kind of as a graphic designer, web designer, and I've kind of seen a lot of changes in web design throughout the years. So it's really kind of a passion of mine. Web design is one of the things I really enjoy. So I've also worked as art director. My recent job before I started teaching, I was the creative director for the university for K-State. So I worked with not only the web team for K-State, we rolled out like the new website, also worked with video, graphic designers, social media, all that good stuff. So, but web design, I've always had a fascination for web design, and it's something that I enjoy, and hopefully you guys will too by the end of the class. So just by a show of hands, you can use your camera to raise your hand, or you can do the little virtual hand deal on the participant thing. How many of you have ever coded HTML before? Okay, so a few of you. So that's great. This class, we're going to start from the basics. So if you've never coded HTML or anything before, that's fine. We're going to start out with the basics. We'll do the basics of HTML, basics of CSS, and then we'll kind of move on from there. So by the end of the course, you guys will have a website that you've created, and you'll kind of be on your way to doing some other cool stuff as far as web design. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, does everybody see, can everybody see the screen? Should be the Canvas page. Just give me a thumbs up. Okay, all right. Sorry, I'm on my small laptop, so usually I have like 2 dual screens going, so I can see you guys and my screen at the same time, so bear with me. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just kind of run through the Canvas course. So when you log in to the course, this is what you'll see. So I kind of have everything organized by modules for the whole course. Before we get going through that, I'm just going to run through the syllabus real quick. I just hit some of the highlights. So again, CMST-135. As far as when we're meeting on Zoom, Mondays and Wednesdays at this time, 12:30 to 1:20. And then we'll also have in-person work sessions on Fridays. And I'll go over all that here in just a little bit on how that'll work. There's my contact info. So that's my, we got rid of all of our campus phones. So that's just my cell phone. And so if you want to, you can call me or send me a text or email, anything like that will work. And as soon as I get my office hours figured out, I'll put that into Canvas as well. So I'll have virtual office hours, and I'll have some on-campus hours as well. So you're always free to stop by my office on campus if you want to. We'll just have to remember to do the whole social distancing thing and wearing a mask and all that good stuff. And you can always email me and I'll respond to email as well. Usually within 24 hours, if not sooner. Most of the time I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Okay, so the textbook, we're going to use it's the Web Development and Design Foundations with HTML5. It's a great textbook. You guys will need to make sure you have this. If you haven't already, get that ordered. Make sure it's the 9th edition. I'll go ahead and hold it up here. Well, I got my virtual background on, so it's kind of, it's basically a red book here. I'm sorry, that doesn't work with the virtual background. It's like making the book disappear. But it's the 9th edition. They should have it at the bookstore. If not, you can order it online. I know Amazon has it as well. I've had students that have used the digital version as well. That's okay. You can do the digital one, and that'll work as well, as long as it's the 9th edition. Okay, so we'll get to the technology stuff here in a second. So standard rule of thumb, usually about 3 to 4 hours of study per course module. Okay, so usually you're going to spend about 9 to 12 hours a week on this class as far as studying and doing the assignments and stuff. You know, as you get more familiar with HTML and things like that, it'll go a lot faster. So there's the learning outcomes. I won't go through all those. The grading, it's kind of broken down here by points. Okay, so take a look at those. We'll have class activities, case studies each week. We'll have a final project, and there'll be quizzes each week as well. And I do take attendance, so we'll get points for that. Now, as far as attendance, if you do happen to get sick or anything like that, please let me know. You know, we'll try to work with you on late work or any kind of missing assignments. So I won't count off for anything like that if you have to be out, as far as, you know, if you get sick. So just I'll work with you and then work with the student life office as well. But if you do happen to not get something done during the week, no big deal. You can always get that turned in. There'll just be a little bit of a reduction as far as the points on that. So it's better to get it turned in late than to get a 0 on stuff. So here is the course schedule. You can take a look at that. It's kind of just, basically we're following the textbook. Okay, so we're just going chapter by chapter. And then the final exam, there's no final exam in this course. It'll just be a final project. So we'll have the final project presentations on Monday, December 7th. Okay, so, and then just a reminder, after Thanksgiving break, the university's moving to all online. So we won't have any of the in-class work sessions after Thanksgiving. Everything will just be done via online. All right, and then there's just some of the other stuff here. One of the new ones is the face coverings. If you're on campus, just make sure you have your mask with you. I see Molly's got hers on, so good job, Molly. All right, so you guys can take a look at that. So let me talk about the technology a little bit. Where did I have that? Okay, so you are going to need a program called Brackets. It's a nice program to use if you're beginning to code. Let me just open up a tab here and show you that. You can just go to brackets.io or just Google Brackets. I'll take you right to this web page. It's available for Mac and Windows. Is anybody using a Chromebook? If you are, just go ahead and speak up, or okay, nobody's using a Chromebook. All right, because as far as last I heard, they didn't have Brackets on the Chromebook as far as one of the apps to download, but there are alternatives that we can do for Chromebook if anybody's using that. I can work with you on that and get you some apps to try out. But go ahead and use download Brackets. That's one we're going to be using. So what we'll do in class during these Zoom sessions, most of the time, I'll pull up the code, the editor, and I'll be working through the class practice assignments with you guys. So that's one of the things why you'll want to try to join the Zoom class as much as you can. because I'll be doing some of that coding right here with you guys and going through that. I'll also be recording all of these Zoom sessions. So if you do have to miss class or anything, they will be archived, and I'll have links to everything in Canvas. So you can always look back and review those. And it's always a good thing too, if you're working on the assignments and need to look back and see how I coded a certain thing on one of the assignments, you can go back and look at the video. All right. I'm going to jump back to the home page here on Canvas. So the first one I have here, this is something you guys might want to bookmark. It's the University COVID-19 Guidance web page. So this will be a good site to refer to. They're going to keep this up to date. You know, something new, if anything changes, this site will reflect that. So it has everything from health and wellness, as far as like face coverings, cleaning, disinfecting, what to do if you're in isolation or quarantine, if something does happen and you happen to be diagnosed with COVID-19, there's a plan that the university has in place. We'll work with Student Life and other instructors and make sure that we're doing everything for you guys to make sure that your health and safety, we want to keep that in mind, but we also want to make sure that you do well in school as well. So we'll work with you guys. So anyway, this site has everything there. So you might want to take some time this week to just kind of look at these different pages. There's a lot of, the way they organize the information is done pretty well. So this will be a good site to kind of keep in mind. So that's right there. And go back here. About the instructor, that just has a link to my website. You can check that out if you want to. This is just general course information and different things. So I'll let you guys read through that. And the syllabus in PDF format, I have that there. I put the link for the Zoom class right here on the details page. Again, Mondays and Wednesdays, 12:30 to 1:20. So we'll be meeting right here. And then the on-campus work sessions, those will be on Fridays from 12:30 to 1:20 and TC 163. Because of the restrictions as far as social distancing, we can only fit 11 students in those labs. So I'll have a sign-up sheet that I'll go through here in a second, and I'll walk you through how that'll work. But the Zoom link here, it's just my personal meeting room, so that's what we'll use. The meeting ID is just my cell phone number, so you can always just pull up Zoom and then type in that phone number there as far as the meeting ID, and it'll take you right to the meeting. So that's that. All right, so as far as the on-campus work sessions, these are optional. So you don't have to come to these, but if you are having trouble and you want, I wanted to provide some time for kind of one-on-one instruction with you guys. So that's kind of why we're doing this. But if you do need to come in and work with me on problems that you're having with any of the assignments, we're going to use Fridays as a time to do that. At the same time, 12:30 to 1:20, and those are going to be in room 163. And again, there's only going to be room for 11 students. So I have this sign-up link here that you can click on. And what it'll do is it'll just pull up a sign-up page. And I have them organized here by all the different Fridays. Looks like we already have a couple of them filled here for this Friday. So you just click here, put your name in and your email. And then unfortunately, when we get to 11, then that room will be filled for the day. But if you do want to have, if you have questions on anything, feel free to call me, Zoom with me. If you're on campus, you can come by during my office hours, and I'd be glad to sit down and work with you on anything that you're having trouble with, okay? So again, unfortunately, we can't get everybody in the classroom. I wish we could, but we'll just have to kind of roll with the punches here. All right, so before I move on, any questions on how that's all going to work? Okay, makes sense. All righty. Okay, so we got that. This module here is just some basic IT help, Canvas help for any freshmen that might be new to Canvas. These has some good frequently asked questions and Canvas guides for you to check out. So got those there. All right, and then then we're gonna move into what we're gonna be doing for this week. So a couple things. Check out the introduction page for this week. Each week I'll have one of these pages set up. We'll have a quiz there. Looks like, oh, I'll need to fix that. We're not doing that activity this week, so I will. That was something I did when we had everybody in the same classroom, so I'll get rid of that. But this week, just a couple things. One thing that the first thing I'm gonna have you guys do when we come back on Wednesday, I'm gonna have you guys find a favorite website. Okay, so if you click on that assignment there, real easy. What I want you to do is go out and find a website that you really like, or maybe one that you have found that you kind of, you're really interested in, like kind of wondering how they did that. Maybe it has some cool features as far as the way it works on a mobile phone, or has some cool interactive features. Just something that kind of really grabs your attention, and something that that you think is kind of interesting. So get that, and then just submit the URL for that. And then what I want to do on Wednesday is we'll go through we'll go through those and take a look at them and talk about those websites. The couple other things to do this week, the Icebreaker introductions. So this is just a discussion post. Since most of the class is going to be online, I kind of wanted to get to know you guys a little bit better. And then also so you guys can get to know each other as far as your fellow classmates. So if you go to the discussion board here, I want you to just kind of introduce yourself, your name, maybe where you're from. Why are you taking the course? Is it needed for your major, or is it for an elective, or just for fun? Maybe you've always wanted to learn how to code. So do that, and then just share something unique, a fact about you. That can be anything, just something so we get to know you a little bit better. So that's the discussion post for this week. And then while we're in the discussions, I believe I have, there's a community question and answer discussion board in here as well. So I'll check this throughout the week. If you have something that maybe a problem that you want to bring up to the class to get feedback on, or if you have a question about, you find something, kind of wondering how they did this as far as maybe the way they're doing the coding for a certain page. This is kind of an area where you guys can interact with each other, and I'll check out those as well. All right. So that'll be due by Sunday, the Icebreaker and introductions, and then we'll just have the first quiz for Chapter 1 we'll be due on Sunday as well. So pretty much all the assignments will be due Sunday night by midnight. That's kind of the way I have everything set up. When we get going here next week is when we'll really start getting into the coding. Usually what we'll have is I'll go through just some basic PowerPoint real briefly. like on Mondays, and then we'll get into the class activities, and we'll do those together. And then usually each week, then there'll be a case study in the book. And so the way the book works is it kind of has those practice activities, the ones I call class activities, and then one case study. So this case study, basically what we're going to be doing is building a site from scratch. We just start out with the basics as far as chapter 2 next week, and then we just keep building and adding to that. And so by the time we're done, we'll have a little website that has a few pages and is interactive and covers everything that we've done throughout the semester. The other big project is your final project, and that'll be another website that you'll be working on throughout the semester. Kind of the same thing. We'll start out with the basics as far as like coming up with your ideas for it, figuring out the site map, things like that. And then by the end of the semester, you'll have a website that you'll have put together. Okay. So when we start doing the stuff next week, as far as the coding, I'll show you kind of how that'll all work as far as like submitting stuff through Canvas and getting your files submitted. We'll go through all that so everybody knows how to do that. But really for this week, what I want you to do for Wednesday, find your website that you want to share with the class. And if you want to start working on the icebreaker introductions and the discussion board. And then also Wednesday, I'll go through some information from chapter 1 that'll be covered in that quiz on there. So all the quizzes will be in Canvas. I've have them all set up where you can do 2 attempts. So if you take the quiz the first time and you really kind of bombed it, don't worry. You can go back and take it again, and then I'll just use the highest score from the 2 attempts. All right. Okay. Any questions on any of that? Okay. All right. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen then. Okay. If you have a camera, if you don't have your camera turned on, you want to turn it on, go ahead. So I can kind of see everybody's faces. So usually I like to. All right, cool. Hello. All right. See, some people got their phones going. That's awesome. So when we do when we are doing the coding together in class, just something to think about. You might want to have your laptop available so you can do that along with me as we're doing that. But again, like I said, I'll be recording all of these, so you can always go back and review them and review them at a later date as well. And if there's something that you didn't catch the first time, you can go back and take a look. So, okay. Okay, Trevor, looks like I don't have a webcam yet. That's no big deal. And also, if for those of you that are new to campus, that are on this line of campus, if I believe room 168, it's TC 168. It's our digital media lab. We have a bunch of iMacs set up in there that all have webcams built into them, and they'll have brackets and everything on them. So you're always welcome to go in there. There's no classes in there at this time. So you can always go in there and work along during class if you want to as well. They'll have webcams set up. So, but the webcam's no big deal, because most of the time it's just going to be you guys looking at my screen while I'm going through the coding and doing that with you. So if you do have a mic though, if you have a mic, that would be helpful if you want to, so you can ask questions and stuff. So, okay. All right, well, I'm excited to get this semester going. I always love this class with kind of beginning web design. It's usually fun to see where you guys start out at the beginning of the semester, and then the cool web pages and stuff, and the website that you come up with for your final project by the end. It's kind of amazing to see the progression throughout the semester. So excited to have you all. Any last minute questions or anything before we leave for today? Do we need a domain host? No, you won't need a domain or host for the site. We'll just be hosting them locally on your computer. So yeah, no worries there. Raise of hands, how many of you are also in Studio One, the CMST Studio One course? Okay, a few of you. So our final project that we're doing in this class will also kind of be your final project for the Studio One course as well. So we kind of tie those two classes together. So throughout the semester, you'll be using this final website project as your final for Studio One as well. So just kind of a heads up there. Okay. All right. Awesome. We're excited to get the semester started with you guys, and we'll see you on Wednesday, and looking forward to seeing what website you guys bring to class on Wednesday. All right. Okay. All right. We'll see everybody. Bye.
See you.
Bye.